Hello, welcome back to our Batman the Animated Series commentary. Today's episode is going to be an episode called Vendetta, which is another name for vengeance. Yeah, but not vengeance of Robert Pattinson's Batman. Vengeance of none other than the villain Killer Croc and his first appearance in this episode. So, as usual, I'm going to do my countdown so we can watch this episode together. So if you have your DVD box set or Blu-ray box set or your streaming service with Batman the Animated Series, we can do this together. All right, so let's go. In 3, 2, 1, let's give it a play. So the Warner Bros. Logo is on the screen. And this episode, Vendetta, like I said, has the first appearance of the villain Killer Croc. In this animation, and I love Killer Croc. I love the idea of Batman fighting monsters, like I always say. Maybe Croc is not my favorite of the Batman supernatural villains. Maybe no, he's not my favorite of the Batman supernatural villains, but I do like him a lot, and I do love when we have any interpretation of the villain in a animation or in a movie, whatever, a comic book. So I think he's a very interesting villain, nonetheless, especially because of his backstory that can be, although is not always, tragic, or at least it brings this kind of old classic monster feeling to the Batman lore, right? And one of the things that I love about this episode right away as we start is that we have a rainy episode, right? Gotham City in this episode is very rainy, and we have the episode starting in a very interesting way or interesting plot with this criminal called Spider Conway that is being transported by boat to the dock of Gotham City, and Commissioner Gordon, Bullock, and Rene Montoya are in this dock waiting for this guy coming in the police boat because he is a witness to a crime, so he must be protected by the police while he's being transported. But during the transportation, we're going to see that Killer Croc, he jumps on the boat, or actually he places a bomb on the side of the boat, and he then jumps on the boat and kidnaps Spider Conway before the boat explodes. And we see this big explosion in the ocean of Gotham, in the seashore, and then Batman is also watching the whole watching the explosion from afar with his binocular, and he immediately will jump into action to see what's happening. So Commissioner Gordon talks with his cops, talking about the idea that now they need to drag the sea, or drag the bay, like Bullock says, to look for Conway. And then we're going to have this scene where Batman jumps on the Batboat, another appearance of the Batboat, and he speeds on the bay to also investigate the case. And I just love the idea of this rainy episode. It brings this very sinister and interesting, how can I say, photography to the animation, a dark photography to the whole story. And the mood of the episode is very rainy, and there are lightning crashing all the time during the story. So it brings this very interesting mood to the plot. And also is very it fits very well to the plot because this is an investigation plot as well. As we're gonna see, Bullock is talking to Gordon, and Gordon is asking Bullock to step aside in the investigation of what happened to Conway, because he is under suspicion that he is involved in the crime and that he wanted to kill Conway. He was the one who ordered the explosion in the boat to escape the investigation, because he might be related to the whole crime. And we see Batman entering the file department of the police building. And actually, we saw a very cool scene before he entered this building. It was a minute ago, but he was in he was near the window of the facade of the building, and this lightning crashed on the rain, and very quickly we have this vision of Batman in the reflection of the glass of the window, which was very dark and sinister. I loved that. So Bruce now is in the Batcave talking to Batman, and he's talking about what happened, and the idea that Conway was working with Rupert Thorne, our famous gangster of this animation, and he's talking about the whole thing of Bullock perhaps being involved with the demise of Spider Conway, or trying to kill him to erase evidences. And he says that he found a toothpick near the bay, and toothpick only means that this could be really Bullock, because he always has this toothpick in his mouth, right? Then we cut to the lair of the Killer Croc, where we see Spider Conway actually alive, and he is being kept in this lair. Is a cave underneath the water. And we also see very briefly Killer Croc coming from the shore of the water in this cave and attacking Conway very fast. But we then cut to Rupert Thorne in his garden house on the top of his building, and he's planting, which is something odd for a gangster. But he is planting, taking care of his flowers, his plants. Then Batman arrives, and he wants to talk to him, do some questions about what happened. And then he grabs Rupert Thorne and says, "This is how it works, slime ball." Sorry about my impression; it's not very, very good. But Rupert Thorne's men arrive, and they're going to protect their boss. But then Batman does something very interesting, that he takes Rupert Thorne to the edge of the building outside the garden house, or house garden, should I say? I don't know. And he jumps with Thorne from the edge of the building in order to question him in another place away from his men. And then he swings with Rupert Thorne, and then Thorne actually tells him what he knows, right? And he says that he did an order for Spider Conway to be killed, and that he doesn't even care about what that guy would say for the cops, because he has nothing to do with it. And this is where Batman leaves him. We cut back to the cops. They're still looking for Conway in the bay, and it actually stopped raining in the scene, which is very nice. But mood, the sinister mood is still all over the episode. Batman arrives to talk with Gordon underneath a wood structure near the bay, and Gordon explains what is the relation of Bullock with the case, and he tries to convince Batman that Bullock is actually a good cop and not a corrupt one, even though Batman doesn't believe it at first. And Batman does the whole thing of disappearing in front of Gordon, right? And while he turns away, and he says that once Batman is gone, he says a line that I really love, that for the first time, my friend, I wish you are wrong about your instincts. I mean, Gordon says, right? And this is because he knows Bullock is not a corrupt cop. Yes. So Batman searches for some evidence near the bay, and he finds a piece of skin or piece of scale, a fish scale, or maybe a croc scale near the shore. And this will play a role later in his investigation. Then we cut to the police station, and a guy dressed as Bullock arrives, all wetting the floor of the place, and is actually Croc, dressed, disguised as Bullock. He enters the prison cells of the building, and he gets another guy, kidnaps another guy, right, to take him to his lair. And this will also play a role later in the story. So it's the second criminal that he kidnaps in this episode. So for a Killer Croc episode, this is a very crime-related plot, right? Instead of being a more monstrous, or I mean a monster theme episode, which I like more. But I also love this idea of Batman investigating something that at first he thinks is just a gangster plot, and then coming to the realization that there is something maybe supernatural in the whole thing. And in this case, he's now investigating. He's now checking the scale that he found on the shore using his devices, and he realizes the whole thing is he realizes the thing is a reptilian piece of scale, which will take him to the ocean world of Gotham City, which is the place where kids see the animals of the ocean, right? And he sees a cage filled with crocodiles. He learns a little more about the crocodiles. I don't know why he didn't look this on newspapers or any other books. He had to go to the Ocean World Park to see this information, but okay. Then he gets the information that crocs like to live in caves underneath water, right? So this is where he will take his bat boats and go underneath the Gotham Sea to find a cave. And when he finds a cave, he swims in the entrance of this cave and ends up inside the lair of Killer Croc. He finds the two men inside, Spider Conway and the other guy that he kidnapped. And this is the first time Croc finally shows up in the episodes. And they will have, Batman and him will have their first confrontation, which is a very cool one because Croc is also a physical villain, right? He's very strong, and he's almost like a wrestler guy. And later Batman will see that he was actually a wrestler once in his life, and then he's able to take on Batman, who is essentially a very big guy. He's able to take on him very easily because he's a very strong villain. So Croc tries to drown Batman in the water of the cave, and we get Batman is able to escape. They still fight. We have this very interesting movement of Killer Croc. The way he moves, actually, the way he walks is very crocodile-like with the four paws, right, on the floor. So it's very interesting. So Batman, the other two criminals, they try to run away from the the cave, and Batman swims after them. He leaves Croc behind and goes after these guys to trap them, and he's able to take them both to the police later. So we go back to the Batcave, where Batman is going to check more information on the newspaper this time. Like I said before, about the wrestling champion Killer Croc, a guy that he was first a carnival sideshow, then he started to wrestle, do wrestling in actual championships, and then he went to the criminal life and work for gangsters, right? So Croc, in this version of Batman, this interaction of Batman, he already has a criminal file and a criminal backstory. And Batman realizes that in order to take the Croc down, he needs to attract the villain. I didn't mention before, but meanwhile, before Batman went to Croc's cave, Bullock was arrested for his supposed involvement with the crimes. But then when Batman arrested Spider Conway and took him back to the police station, Bullock was let go. This is where Killer Croc arrives and tries to take Bullock by himself, and he enters Bullock's car, and Bullock realizes that Croc is doing all of this. He set him up because of revenge, vengeance, vendetta, like the name of the episode. All because Bullock was the one who put him in a jail before. So now the circle of the story finally closes. So Batman is actually inside the car as well, and he gets Croc. They start a fight, and while Bullock is driving, he loses control of the car. The car crashes into a pole, and Bullock faints. Then Croc is able to escape back to the sewer of Gotham, and Batman goes after him. So this is where we're gonna have the final confrontation of the episode, which is a very, again, a fitting environment for the final fight between them both. So Batman is trying to... by the way, Batman used Bullock as a bait before, right? Once Bullock was released, that was the motif that Batman used as a bait to attract Killer Croc. And now they are fighting. Croc releases some water over Batman, And since this is a dark environment, Batman uses something that he rarely uses in these episodes, that is his night vision, right? He has these red lenses over his cowl that make him be able to see in the dark. He tosses a big light onto a wall to make Croc blind for a second, and he uses that to kick the shit out of him. And it becomes that kind of fight that, since they're both with water over their waist, Croc is able to use that to hide inside the water and attack Batman from any other angle. And it's a very interesting and fitting fight for this end. Then Batman uses his grappling hook to hook Croc into a wall with his fist tied on the rope. But when Croc pulls his fist and pulls the rope and the hook out of the wall, the whole place, the wall breaks and the whole place starts to fall apart. So all the bricks, the ceiling of the sewer, all of this falls down, and then we cut back to the street where Batman gets out of a manhole and he pulls Killer Croc with him unconscious. So he was able to beat the villain, while Bullock arrives with a gun pointed towards him, towards Croc, and Batman just leaves Croc's unconscious body for Bullock to put him in jail again. Then Bullock and Batman have this exchange, and it's the first time in this series where both of these men, they actually see eye to eye, right? Because the whole dynamic of their relationship is that they don't really agree with each other. So Batman actually tells him that they might not agree in the line of duty that they act, but they are both after the same thing, which is justice. And this will lead to the end of the episode, and actually will lead for a very good episode in this show that will come many episodes from now, that is called Bullets for Bullock, one of my favorite episodes in this series that we will talk about it in the future. And it's very good episode about their relation. And this is it for now, guys. Thank you so much. If you are liking this Batman the Animated Series commentary, don't forget to like and subscribe for the channel for more. See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.